Good day, my friend. Happy Friday to you, whatever that means. That means absolutely nothing to me. Friday, Monday, uh, September, it doesn't matter. I have no time, no set of any kind of an appreciation factor for time. Now let me bring you up to speed on a couple of things here. And before we begin, I want you to understand that the goal of this enterprise is to give you enough of a take so that you're able to go out into the world and maybe, I don't know what the word is, maybe have a different opinion, a different look. We believe, very frankly, in a kind of a multidisciplinary rule. It's not just about, politics per se, not about Trump per se, but it's everything. And I am telling you right now, listen to what I'm saying. You are not going to find this on any show ever. And that's not meant to brag. It's a reality. And the reason for it is very simply this: because nobody sees things the way I do. And I know that sounds like I'm bragging. No, no, no. I'm telling you. And it's been my curse. I've had to live with this. People don't want this. Believe me when I say that. Nobody wants anybody that you can't predict what they're going to say. Nobody wants anybody who doesn't have a strict label that you have to adhere to. Nobody. And I recognize this. I made up my mind a long time ago. I made up my mind. I can only be me. I'm going to break into Sammy Davis Jr. here, but I can only tell you what I believe. And I'm only going to tell you one thing. And when you tell your folks, and by the way, thank you so much for being a part of this. Thank you so much for joining us. Thank you so much for liking us and liking our videos and subscribing and telling your friends. And also don't forget our great friends at mypillow.com. We just bought a whole bunch of new pillows. My favorite, you're going to laugh, is this little tiny pillow that fine-tuned pillow where you go, oh, this is nice. Okay. And then you go, perfect. It's this little, I don't know what you want to call it. What do you call that? Not a bolster. A neck roll. There you go. Have a neck roll. Okay. So mypillow.com, promo code Lionel. Use it right now. Save money, get a free gift. Okay. Let me start off with something. You're going to have to understand that in this world of ours, in this world, there's a whole bunch of stuff out there that is a little bit of religion, a little bit of politics, a little bit of a lot of stuff. Okay. And let me start off before we get down to about Trump and that sort of thing. Number one, observation. As you may or may not know, I do, this is the public version of this is what I can say. This is the nice stuff. This is the nice stuff. This is the, I don't want to say nice, but this is like the PG stuff. Anybody who thinks that the rules have changed, that it's free to come on and say what you want today, is out of your mind. You understand what I'm saying? You are out of your mind. This is the link for my private channel. I want to tell you something. You do know, I trust you do. You know, you've heard of the dark web and this web and that. There are levels of information specifically involving, sometimes they're called the blind, sometimes it's called blind gossip, sometimes the kind of behind the scenes. And if you only knew what was being said, what is out there, it would blow your mind. As I told you, I've been watching and listening and going to this JFK, Destiny Interrupted, or whatever the hell it's called. It's DiEugenio's tremendous, you cannot believe the blatant history of how they killed John Kennedy. You cannot. No, you think you know it. You don't know it. You don't know it. You don't understand it. You don't understand it. And the thing that you can count on in this country is that you can do the most obvious stuff there is. The most obvious. You can whack whatever you want people. There's one going around, which I'm not going to mention now. I'm not. On my private channel I do, but there are some people who are of lesser known. I mean, you might know their names, but they were going to spill the beans. And interestingly enough, they're no longer with us. And nobody seems to say anything. And nobody seems to care. Nobody has pursued this. They don't rise to that level. Because, and listen to me carefully, the American people have lost any suspicion. They've been told for so long, don't think this. You'll be a conspiracy theorist. You'll be considered crazy. Don't do this. Don't go there. Don't, just let it alone. And people have said, okay. And they've conditioned themselves to this. Do you hear what I'm saying? They've conditioned themselves. You have no earthly idea. One in particular, I know for a fact that, and it's all coming out, and people are saying, oh my God. And it goes nowhere. It goes into the vault, into the vacuum, and it just dies. And I don't know what happens. Nobody pursues anything. I don't understand. It's the weirdest thing. Throughout history, there have been issues regarding Dorothy Kilgallen. It's a very interesting case. The death of Marilyn Monroe, the death of JFK, the death of RFK. And it goes on and on and on. Epstein. Alan Dulles, who was responsible, he might have been one of the most consummate, I don't want to use words like evil, psychopath. Those words are too strong. He is a person who says, I'm the kingmaker. I can do whatever I want, whether it's Arbenz, whether it's Lumumba, whether it's JFK, anybody in the way. And it goes back to, remember what we did with the mentality then. This is the mentality with Operation Ajax in Iran. Anytime we don't want anything, Diem, Vietnam, anybody, they send false cables telling him, go ahead, off him. It's unbelievable. But do you think Fox News is going to want to cover this? Do you think who? Maybe Joe Rogan, maybe to his credit, maybe. Natalie Wood, very interesting case. Natalie Wood, terrified of water, terrified. Everybody says she was terrified of all of these things. And what? She was going to go swimming late at night. Robert Wagner has been Christopher Walken. Remember those people involved? Who knows who, what, when? That thing is, when you get to a certain point, people say, you know what, the hell with it. Now, what did the blind say? What do other people say? Oh, and it makes sense. You know when something makes sense? I'm going to throw one out to you right now, and I'm going to say this. And remember, I told you this, and remember, and I mentioned this before, but I'm going to say it again. Bobby Kennedy Jr. I hope, I trust, I wish, I ask, I pray, though I don't pray, but I pray sort of, that you have completely and totally understood that were you to in any way veer from the bonds of your marriage, from the I don't know what you want to call it, because you have shown in the past, by your own admission, very nicely, that you've had addiction problems, which you've conquered, which are wonderful, that you would almost treat women as though they were like a predatory, like keeping track and whatever. You're going to be out right now. And I see this so, and it worries me, but I'm going to tell you this. And this is a lesson for you. This is a lesson for you. This is human nature. What have I always told you? It's always about psychology. It's not about politics. The reason why you vote a particular way is not because of the facts, but because of something else. Things about candidates and the like, whether it's Trump, maybe you like Trump because maybe what he had to say, but also there was a part of you that liked being the rebel, the maverick. And I've always appreciated that. Oh yeah. If nobody else likes the music, I love the music. If I've always loved that part. Always. But there's a certain psychology about Bobby. Now he is out there, and I saw this. There were two women, I swear to God. One in particular the other night, and I've never seen this before. And because I'm not in show business, I'm not whatever it was. There was a woman that I swear to God, if she was right there, and she could have run to the front and attacked him and mauled him physically, had been intimate with him, I think she would have done it right there. I've never seen anything like it. It was almost like ravenous. Am I right? Yeah. It was weird. Now you take this guy who's all of a sudden say, well, I knew I was Bobby Kennedy, but I never knew I was Bobby Kennedy. And Cheryl Hines, it was a picture yesterday they posted on, I think they were in Santa Monica, and Bobby's, again, showing you how in shape he is. That's nice. And look at me, I'm working out. Okay, good. That's another trick. That's another thing. When grown men start telling you, there's a guy who is always, you may or may not know the name, he's kind of in media. He's always saying, look, I'm doing pull-ups. That's great. That's great. You a grown man? What are you? What's the matter with you? Look, I'm doing push-ups. That's nice. What the hell's going on with these people? We'll get to this in a moment. Please be careful, Bobby, because guess who the people who are going to set you up. Ready for this? Listen to me. The word's already out. You're going to have honeypots. They're going to set you up. They want to, you know this. You better have the tightest security there is. Anything today, anything to throw anything. These people who have nothing, they have no problem with strangling federal prisoners in front of everybody. They don't care about the rules. Believe me when I tell you this. They don't care about the rules. You understand what I'm saying? Yes, good. Now listen to me carefully. Be very careful. But you know who's going to set you up? Your family. Your family. When I saw what they did to you with that Jack Schlossberg, I almost puked. Do you see what they're doing, including Caroline and her son, who looks like John Jr.? Well, it is, if you can't see what this is about, trying to redo Camelot, trying to make him out to be the... I despise these people, but never. And let me tell you what he's got. You ready for that? Let me explain something to you. He's the Kennedy who, you know what John Jr.'s thing was, his whole thing, his kind of thing. He doesn't look like the Kennedys. Doesn't have those choppers. Doesn't have that Osmond look, which I'll get to in a moment. Listen to me carefully. He's always like, look at him. So now the ambassador to Australia, wherever the hell she is, she's in some swimming thing with her son, Schlossberg, who did this backseat rant where he refers to his uncle and says, or cousin, I guess it's his second cousin, and says, yeah, I know him, Bobby Kennedy, who has more guts in his earwax, in his cerumen, in his cuticle than you do in your body. This punk who now has been elevated because he's the hottie. Is that it? Okay. All right. Fine. I know all about that. Oh, yeah. Being a supermodel, being a hunk. I'd rather not talk about that right now, if you don't mind. It's a long time ago. Okay. But hey, look at me. I've got eyes. Focus. Bobby, your family's going to set you up. I'm telling you, you're going to see treachery. Remember the mob rule. You've seen it. You've seen enough mob shows. The people that come to whack you are your friends. The people that destroy you are close to you. You pose an existential threat. So clean up your act. And you should also have somebody, maybe an ex-professional wrestler or somebody who is under instructions. If you see me go near a woman between now and whatever the period of time, not my wife, I want you to beat the hell out of me. And it's okay. I'll sign a waiver. Because the first time something happens, the first time you come out of a hotel or you get this, it's over. It's done. These people who think nothing of destroying a child's genitals through whatever it is, these people who have the morals, as we used to say in West Ham, as a three-peckered goat, all of a sudden they're going to act like, oh, you, Robbie. I'm just telling you, because I that's all I'm going to say. Remember, and this is a weird thing, I can say stuff differently on my private channel. I can't say now. That's all I'm going to say. You have no idea. I can tell you stuff. The intel in Hollywood is so great. You have no idea. Let me jump to the next subject. And I'm going to speak about this as directly as possible. Because like I told you about Bobby Kennedy, I have nothing but respect for him. And I worry, say, okay, now he's going to destroy himself. Watch what happens. I can see this coming. I see this coming. Now, why do you think, listen to me carefully, why do you think no one's gone after Hunter Biden? Answer my question. Why do you think? Why do you think? I'm curious as to what you think. Why do you think nobody's really pushed this? Why don't you think people are saying what's on the laptop, what's going on? Jim Jordan's talking about, what is he talking about? What is he? I don't know. They kind of sort of, they do this. Remember the old days, why you, or they stand around and they do this a lot, but they don't really land a punch. They just, it's a lot of posturing. Why do you think this is? Why do you think this is? Why? What do you think? What's the difference? What is this difference? What are the similarities between the Hunter laptop and the Epstein files? What do you think? Are you catching on? Are you catching on? Are you starting to see this? Like, wait a minute. What do you think's on there? What do you think he has? What do you think he has? Whenever somebody doesn't say anything, whenever something is, the honeypot is what you, as you well know, that's the only thing Epstein was about. They get him, they create him, and here he is. Obama, they pull him out of nowhere. He's an organizer. He's whatever. Next thing you know, he's president. This guy came out of nowhere. I swear to you, you do not know the number of people who were his age range or teachers who say, I was at Columbia. I don't remember this guy. Okay. We're not going to get through this again. We're not going to go through that. You have You can't believe they just pick somebody and all of a sudden, that's the guy. That's the one. That's the one. So all of a sudden, here came Jeffrey Epstein. And he was at Dalton School, which was supposedly this big Dalton School. He was not a professor, but teacher. I don't think he had a degree. He was helped by Bill Barr's father, who was headmaster or something, some kind of. And I'm not suggesting anything. By the way, Bill Barr is desperately trying so hard to maintain his position after the fact. This is a good one. Insidious writes, has Jim Jordan ever buttoned his shirt collar or put a coat on? That's a great question. I don't know. I find the whole look to be so pathetically sad. I really do. I honest to God, I find the whole thing to be sad. I really do. It's what it is? As soon as I can figure out the shtick, as soon as I can see the shtick, it annoys me. And I can see the shtick. Sometimes they roll up their sleeves. You notice that? That's look at me, I'm working. Anyway, that's a good question. They create people out of nowhere. If you don't think there is a dossier, so to speak, of all the people in Washington that could be crushed, ruined, whatever, and I would immediately start out with looking at who has the laptop, who has the original contents of it, who has the original, where is it now? Remember, they had a woman by the name of Emma Jo Morris. She was here. She and Miranda Devine, the laptop from hell, Rudy Giuliani. Who has the laptop? Where is it? Has the actual contents been forensically reviewed? And is it used in reverse? Are there people actually using it, not against Hunter, but against the bigger folks because of what's on it? What's on that picture? What's in it? Let me just go back. Please watch this. Just you got to spend some time looking what we did regarding JFK. Look at what they did. That was just 60 years ago. And you might want to say, were they more sophisticated then? In some respects, yes. You have got to leave the regular world. This is why I don't get along with people. I'm not a conspiracist. I'm a realist. I'm a realist to a fault. I'm a realist. This is a real. I don't care about what should be. I don't care about. I was talking to somebody fairly recently, young person, about dating. This guy probably, when I got done with him, he probably thought, oh my God. I told him the truth. I'm going to tell you, want me to lie to you? I'm going to tell you the truth. Want me to lie to you? Want me to lie to you? You want me to tell you what's going on? I'll tell you what's going on. You sure you want to hear it? Okay. Get ready. It's the truth. Remember one thing. I hope you're writing down everything I'm saying, which is very important. Years ago, when I started in talk radio in 1980, well, officially 80, but actually it was before that, 85, was kind of like I did it for free. I was kind of a free, but this is when shock jocks came along. I remember after Don Imus passed away, he was very good, but what a jerk. What a jerk. He really was. I mean, he was. I've heard a lot of great. I've heard people have said that, I don't know him, but they say Stern is much nicer. But anyway, Imus was just a jerk. Anyway, but very famous during his. And he said he was a shock jock. When you listen to him today, oh my God, unbelievable. And guess what? You know who the shock jocks are today? Who? You know who they are? People who tell the truth. People who tell the truth. And I want you to pay attention to something. I want you to pay attention to something. Listen to me carefully. I'm throwing a lot at you right now, but I want you to pay attention. Do you know what the guy that I love, the person that I think is the most interesting? This is the person who appears to be something but isn't. We've always loved animals that were camouflaged. This is the most important thing in the world. There was how do I say this? There was I forget, people, I don't know where this came from, but there was a story about which animal do you like? And people like, do you want to be the cheetah? Do you want to be the, nah, I don't want to be that. I want to be, I think it was called it was the archerfish or the anglerfish. It was a fish that opened its mouth and had this little thing on top of its head. It looked like a worm or something, or maybe I don't know what the top is. And the other fish would come around and it would, that was it. That's me. I'm not going to chase anything down. Hell no. Just want to sit there like this. Come on. That was good. Open up your mouth. Here they come. I love people who are deceptive. And the moment somebody rises up, immediately keep an eye on them and say, okay, let's watch, because they're going to turn them. This is an old intel thing. Turn them, flip them. I'm starting to worry about Joe Rogan. I'm starting to think this is not the paranoid. This is the realist. I'm a realist. Joe Rogan's the first guy I want to get to. It's like, this is great. Joe Rogan thought, remember when Joe went, he says, I'm going to say whatever I want about vaccines. Oh, no, you're not. I'm a tough guy. Oh, no, you're not. And I remember, I think he's the most important person on platform. Remember, two seemingly inconsistent minds or thoughts being held. He's the most important, but I thought that was interesting. Joe just made it. Wow. Joe just made it. Joe remained unscathed. That's interesting. I wonder why that is. That's a very interesting story there. Look how Joe just came up. And then I said, look how Joe was apologizing. Oh my God. He's not what we think he is. But he's still good. So listen to what Joe is saying. The stuff that he does that's interesting, which is great about the age of the earth and, black holes and UFOs and he's a Hannity. He says things that are really like, I just think what they're doing to Donald Trump is terrible. Okay. Not exactly going out on a limb. See what's happening? Well, here's the proof in the pudding. Joe Rogan drinks Bud Light, slams a boycott over Dylan Mulvaney, calls it people are silly. New York Post, Joe Rogan cracked open a can of Bud Light and took a sip, defying calls to boycott it. He said, we're drinking Bud Light, ladies and gentlemen. Rogan anticipated fury from his many conservative. Sorry, he exhaled. People are silly. Why? What do you think that is? Why do you think he did that? What was that about? He had on welcoming his guest, country music star Zac Bryan. Now, that may not have seemed that much to you. That might not have seemed like a big deal to you. That told me everything. Everything. Do you see what's happening? Do you see what's happening? Joe's a smart guy. Joe says, I'm making more money than I have ever made or could make. I can do no wrong. I can break wind and get $1 million. I am not going to get in the way of this. His Spotify handlers were told, we came this close from having them pull the plug. If the globalists decide to come after us, we're done. We're through. So listen, tough guy, that's enough with this. No more vaccine talk. You got it? And it wasn't because of Neil Young. So understand, remember, be a realist. This is the way it is. Bobby Kennedy, be a realist. This is the way it is. You got it? Look at Donald Trump the other night at Bedminster with the Fox people coming and kissing his ass. Did you see that? This is the way it is. This is reality, my friends. Don't ever kid yourself. This is the way it is. Now, Here's something you got to look at. Changing subjects just a little bit. You want some good news? Let me give you some good news. Who is America? You got to know where to look. You got to know where to look. And I'm going to say something to you right now, and you're going to disagree because you've been told by the intellectual, by the intelligentsia, how to react to this. But I'm going to tell you the reality. The Barbie movie, we still have to see that. It was one of the best. It was in every theater in New York. Every theater. Indie houses, art houses, regular. It's everywhere. It's the biggest thing ever. Now, it's a good thing. Why? Because girls are celebrating girls. There's a TikTok or there's a YouTube or a Twitter or something of Riley Gaines. By the way, Riley Gaines, little insight, change your message. You're getting stale. You're boring. You're boring. If it's the same thing over and over and over, you can't do it. You got to change it. You change it, okay? You got that one? We got it. You're a swimmer and you in the League of Tom. I got it. What else are you going to do? See, nobody's guiding her. You're going to talk maybe about education, maybe about kids, maybe about having the Riley Gaines foundation to teach kids how to swim. Also go and, believe it or not, what I would do, you know the number of African-American kids who drown and who, because of their fear, because of a lot of times they don't have pools in school. It's an old story. But that's what I would do. I would do water safety, babies, teach. Do you ever see a baby? Do you ever see babies swim? It's the most incredible thing. They roll over. They're like fearless. Why? Because they were in this thing called amniotic fluid. They kind of remember. It's vestigial memory. It's atavistic. But she's doing this thing. Anyway, make a long story short, she's on with some woman who said, I'm a trans-binary, but my pronouns are, and those are my pronouns. And it's this weird, I'm a bi-man, I'm a hemi-masculine, and she's just eating her thing. And we are getting so tired of this. I understand it. Yes, there's somebody on TikTok and they're very weird. And yes, I understand it. It's interesting, but it's boring. Okay. Why am I getting at this? Ask Americans. Say, hey, ladies, have you lost the fun about being a girl? Oh, no. No. Is there any chance of women losing their femininity? Oh, no. Maybe for them, not for us. Ta-da! Barbie. Women are finding their little, they don't know anything about the message of men. And don't give me that. Yeah. It's a message. Who needs men? But that's not it. That's not it. It's about wearing pink and being glam and blah, 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 and going out. And it's great. Barbie. There's this place here called American Girl. They still have that, right? They're packed. Little girls go. It's the greatest thing in the world. They go for the dolls, and they've got dolls of every race, which is great to me. You want to get a doll that kind of looks like you, don't you? And I mean, yes. Little girls are here. They're not going anywhere. Forget this. You can talk about all this gender reassignment, all this stuff. It's great news. It's great news. Emphasize that. And they're missing the point on Barbie. It's almost, I realize, oh God, why? They're not understanding what we're doing. This was put out to basically trash men. They go, no, they just see Robbie, whatever her name is, and they go, I want to be like her. Oh, I want to be, she's beautiful. I want to be like her. That's not the point of the movie. Americans don't understand the point of the movie. They just want to be girls, which is the greatest thing in the world. Another thing to look for. Happened to catch this morning. Mrs. L says, hey, look who it is on Fox News. Donny Osmond, 65. Actually, a little older than me. He's about 9 months older than me. But we're in the 65 club this month. And he's doing great. Still has the eye. Why people do this? Why people have the surgery where their eyes get real tiny? I have no idea. Why are you doing that? Kenny Loggins, have you seen those eyes? Kenny Rogers. You know who are those famous ones? What What was her name? The one who was in something? No. She was an actress. She had her surgery. Then she had it back again. Remember her? She had her eyes done. Then Renee, not Zellweger. Zellweger, right. Remember that? Her eyes, you couldn't see. Then she had the surgery. It was terrible. And she had it back again. Why people do this, I have no idea. Why people say, hey, look, my eyes are real tiny. I look young. No, you don't. You look like your eyes are real tiny. What happened to you? Why do people do this? I have no idea. Anyway, Donny Osmond, he's doing his thing. 65. He's got a residency at in Vegas, which is great. In the audience, Mrs. L pointed this out. They love him. Why? Because they never went anywhere. There are people who love him and people who love disco and they love girls. And there is this group of people, this American out there that never went anywhere. Do you understand what I'm saying? They never went anywhere. And they are not allowed to speak because you're being told that everybody's woke and this and that. No, they're not. This is the greatest news ever. There are people who love this guy. There are people who remember, girls to this day, girls remember with such fondness Barbies. I don't know about you, my sister, my parents would say, don't wash the hair. I don't know why my sister wanted to wash the hair. They were like that. Don't wash it. Don't. Remember, it was like this girl. There was a time growing up in my childhood, we emphasized boys had guns and cap guns and helmets and toys, those little green, you sit there and making the noise and all this stuff and G.I. Joes, boys and girls. Did you ever have Susie Homemaker? You ever have that? Susie Homemaker? My sister had Susie Homemaker. Bake a cake. It takes like 12 years. It was like a light bulb. And I kept saying, I'm no expert here, but I don't think this is... Shut up. Okay. Girls, pretend, be a mommy, it's beautiful. They haven't gone anywhere. Look. This is great news. And now, it's taken a while. It took me 37 minutes to get to this. But people love Trump. You're not understanding this. They're not getting it. I don't give a damn, with all due respect to, and I think they're great, Dershowitz, Andy McCarthy, John Yoo, Turley, Levin, Lawrence Tribe. We don't want to hear. We don't care about that. You're not going to change our mind one way or the other. They love this guy. That's a star. That's a star. He has an arraignment. It's like the Stones are coming into town. People say, this is a dark day for America. Yeah, but they love that guy. He's a star. And people say, no, he's an arraignment. No, he's a defendant. No, he's a star. And that's why when Obama got a hold of Biden and said, you got a big problem, this guy's going to kick your arse. Do you understand that? He is more popular. Listen to what I'm saying. He's a star. They love him. They love him. I don't know how to say it anymore. I don't know how to make people aware of this. He is like nothing anybody has ever seen. He's in his own inertial bubble. I don't know what you call it. I don't know what you call it. And the commentary is so lame. Yes, we know. Yes. If you'd have told me that somebody's going to be more popular from being arraigned, I would say, you're out of your mind. Except for Trump. Except for Trump. You understand this? Look at this. Do you see this right now? I'm changing right now. This is one of the most important things. Look at this. Debbie Bland says, my granddaughters play with my old Barbies. You hear that? Let me stop. Let me go back to what I'm saying. Debbie, doesn't that make you happy? Isn't that great? Isn't that great? Doesn't that make you say like, yeah. Kids are kids, and people love stars, and people. But what I'm trying, perhaps circuitously, to tell you is that we are nowhere near losing this country. Do you know what the problem is? The media that give you the idea that somehow things are different. Oh, no, 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 it's different. Americans are more normal and more usual and more, they have not gone anywhere. They are not into this stuff. They're not into woke. They're not into this. Americans do not believe that men should be competing in wrestling. No, 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 no. But we got, our big problem is that we don't have any. Well, let me rephrase this. We have a blood-brain barrier. The best news, sort of, is on the platform. Remember one thing about Joe Rogan. He is great, but just remember something. If you can't see what's happening regarding that, I don't know what to tell you. Everybody's compromised. Everybody's so, right, that's enough. You're not going to go that far. Okay. And if you don't know this, Sean Hannity's not going to say whatever he wants. Nobody, Charlie Kirk, I'm trying to think of a name, Junk Yogurt, whoever these people, they cannot say everything they want. Do you think they think everything? Come on, stop. Somebody sent me the one that his sidekick, Anna Emphysema, whatever her name is, with a tumor in her head, whatever that thing is. She says that I can't, there's this, every now and then there's this little thing like, I can't take this woke stuff. It's like, what is that? Oh, that's my concession. Okay. People don't say what they want. You can't say what you want all the time. Believe me, you got to tell me. Yesterday we found out yet again, Glenn Greenwald, who was terrific, is wonderful. Glenn Greenwald said that Wikipedia has been basically compromised by Intel since the beginning of time. No, really? You think? And what happens is you are so involved in your world, in your particular inertial bubble, that you think the rest of the world's like that, but it's not. Do yourself a favor. When you go, just go and look at a if you get a chance, if there's a playground, like a park, look what kids do. They're still playing. Oh yeah, there's some kids who are looking at games, stuff like that. Yeah. But not as much as you think. We have to get back and remind people of normal. Not left, not right. Normal. Ask this question. Anybody here want to give up their gas stoves? No. Anybody think a grown man should be able to wrestle your daughter in a... No. How about this one? Ask somebody this. Human papillomavirus, condyloma acuminata, venereal warts, Gardasil. I don't even know if Gardasil is allowed. Do you think it should be mandatory? Should that be mandatory? Should that vaccine be mandatory? Just ask a question. People say, no. So how do you tell which one's which? We don't know. Nobody ever asks Americans what they really think. They're too busy listening to Geraldo or whoever it is. That doesn't exist. Every now and then somebody will tell you something. Donny Osmond, they love this guy because they just like, people like stuff that's just plain old. The Osmonds. If Donny Osmond came out now with more music, Donny Osmond, by the way, a little thing about Donny Osmond. Donny Osmond, a while back, if I recall correctly, was it Scott Shannon? Maybe I got the story wrong. Scott Shannon was one of the last vestiges of the disc jockey. Disc jockeys are over. They're done. They're finished. They're through. And then you get people like Elvis Duran, who I've never listened to, but I think he's a kind of like an entertainer, like a who's the guy with Kelly? Used to be with him, Kelly. Dick Clark's buddy. What's his name? Ryan Seacrest. Or Merv Griffin's buddy. Excuse me. That's the last of that. But years ago, the story is Scott Shannon either helped put out or played a song, but it was Donny Osmond, but it was under a different name. People loved it until they found out it was Donny Osmond. Donny Osmond teamed years ago with Frank Zappa against marking lyrics or how do I say this? Mandating lyric or song warnings for adult lyrics or whatever to rate them, G, whatever. And he says, you don't understand. Because of this, now I'm gonna have to sing raunchy lyrics because what you're telling me is I'm not gonna make any money doing this. And he and Frank Zappa got along. He made so much sense. You were telling me today that Marie Osmond is doing great. What, she's into sewing or?
She does performances and she does sewing circles.
Sewing circles?
Sells products.
You know who tried to be Marie Osmond but couldn't? Valerie Bertinelli. You notice that? Kind of, sort of. No. Marie, let me tell you something. Wholesome Wins. Do you know what still works? You know what still works? There isn't a day that goes by when every now and then I'll see, because we always have the TV on in the middle of the night, and to me, 2, 3 o'clock in the morning, to me, always means Barnaby Jones. Barnaby Jones, Cannon, Mannix, I think it's at Me TV or whatever it is. I realize that's so damn good. And the best show ever, the absolute brilliance, number 1 is Green Acres. Green Acres was so ahead of its time, it's not even funny, number 1. Number 2 is Andy Griffith Show. Mayberry, brilliant. And for kids shows, the smartest Rocky and Bullwinkle. That was so hip, it wasn't even funny. Remember when we were kids, we had Mad Magazine. Mad Magazine has some of the greatest cartoonists, and the hippest stuff there couldn't exist today. You understand this? Somebody writes, by the way, this is very interesting. Let me explain. This is a very interesting. I want to bring this up. This is very interesting. Somebody wrote this. Here we go. Martha Mills says, Lionel, last night I almost did purchase Destiny Betrayed when I saw that Whoopi Goldberg was a narrator. Couldn't Oliver Stone find anyone better? Bought it anyway, worth it. Yes. Whoopi Goldberg, she actually reads it well. I don't think Whoopi Goldberg, I swear to God, is half of what you think she is. But she is a pain in the neck, and when she wears the mop on her. But I thought the same thing. But you don't understand something. I don't care about these people. Whoopi Goldberg, Jane Fonda. Jane Fonda does a good show with whatever. But you got to watch this at least 4 times. It'll blow your mind up. You can't believe. You can't believe. You don't understand. You don't know the JFK case. You've got to go through this. It doesn't hit you. They did this in front of everybody, and nobody knows it. Oliver Stone, this is 60 years this year. We're still figuring it out. And this guy, DiEugenio, is, God bless him. And Mark Grubert, America's Untold Stories, fantastic. There's so much information. You can't believe it. Let me just tell you that this is the best one ever. If you want to really just start with this, just as one fact. Whenever we talk about 9/11, I always give like one fact. There's too much information. Too much information. I have 1, 2, 3 facts that I give, and people say, I didn't know that. Of course you don't know that. Of course. But let me give you a story. Here's the question. In the front of the car, remember, car is going this way, all right? Car is going this way. Kennedy's car. Over here, from this direction, is Lee Harvey Oswald, right? From the back. Why is there a bullet in the front? Why is there a bullet coming through the windshield? Huh? There's a bullet came right through. What's that about? Huh? Yeah, that one. Where'd that come from? What are you talking about? There's a bullet. There was? Yeah. You know what they did right away? They took the windshield out, sent it back to the factory, fixed it, sent it back. Why? I don't know. You tell me. Why do you think that was? That's kind of weird, isn't it? Yeah. Why did they wash it down? Why did they wash down a crime scene? You don't have to be Columbo or CSI to realize this. Anything else? Should I go on? You want to just go through all this? How about the story about Tippett? Remember him? Oh my God. It'll blow your mind. And you see, this was 60 years ago. Our beloved president. Bobby Kennedy says, look how many streets and how many things that we name after John Kennedy. And that's great. Well, guess what? We still don't know anything because we're antithetical to this. Don't you understand? That's the way we are. 60 years ago, it changed my life. I'll never forget. Did you ever investigate it? No. What? No. No. How many of you yesterday, I asked you, did you investigate Calvin Coolidge? Did you just find one? Amity Schlaze? She has a couple of good little. Did you learn about Calvin Coolidge? No. The only president ever to shrink the budget, not lower taxes, shrink the budget. Hello. Anybody? Nope. I never did that one. Well, I told you to. One. People aren't autodidacts. They don't read. I want to read myself. I'm always reading. I didn't know that. How did that work? Why is that so? I didn't know that. Think about this. So now we are with Trump. What do we do right now? If I hear one more say, well, as far as I'm concerned, I think the president should have watched what he said on January 6th. Would you shut up? Here's the question. I want to impeach Biden now. Who wants to impeach Biden? Anybody? And I know he's not going to be convicted. And no matter what anybody says, it's a political move. It's not a criminal move. I want to impeach him. And don't give me this business about, well, that was stuff that he did when he was vice president. I don't care. So what? Trump was impeached. Now get this. They impeached Trump for what he said on January, the 6th? And here comes Trump. So from the 6th until, okay, here comes Biden, and they impeached him. He was already out of office. What? Remember what they said? Well, it's not a criminal. Do we want to make sure that it's history, and maybe he won't be able under the 14th Amendment, blah, blah, blah. Okay, fine. I want to impeach Biden now. Anybody got a problem with that? I want to impeach Biden now. Now. I want to know where's that, what's in that laptop? Let's see it. Oh, you don't think they got other famous people in there, do you? Huh? Come on. Of course they do. Why do you think the whole Epstein thing is important? The most important issue is where are the videos? That's the issue. Where are the videos? I don't care about that thing. Where are the videos? Where are the videos? And don't you think for a moment that Ghislaine Maxwell, you think they're going to take care of her when she gets out? Or she? And by the way, I thought for sure, and I mentioned this before, I think I told you this on my private channel, the real word was, and it kind of sort of made sense, the real word was that they were going to work out a deal where they were going to switch Ghislaine for Julian Assange. You understand this, right? Because Julian Assange must be immediately released because he is a journalist. You understand that, right? Julian Assange. And let me also remind President Trump, you were the one who wanted to get him on espionage, where they're getting espionage on you. Now you don't like that. So there's a lot to be thought about right now, a lot to be considered. All right, one more thing. I think you know what I'm going to say. Mrs. L has the most incredible YouTube channel, and what she is being told right now, all of a sudden, everybody's talking about kids now for the first time. Well, that's nice, and that's good, and I appreciate that. They're talking about kids, and they're talking about trafficking, and that's terrific, and we're all for that. She's been doing this before it was cool, like Barbara Mandrell. She was country when country wasn't cool. Well, she was doing this since the beginning. And that's one thing I want to remind you of it. It's the most Easy. It's the easiest story. Oh, here's another one too. So don't forget, Joe Rogan. We're on to you, Joey. We're on to you. Just saying. Just saying. I like him. Don't get me wrong. Don't get me wrong. Tucker releases his first full interview with Devin Archer. One of the most important pieces available. Anybody talk about that? Nope. Why do you think that was? I don't know. I'm not really sure. Okay. Think it's interesting? Yeah. The most important person. The most important person there. Absolutely critical. Absolutely the most important person there. Anyway, so that's that. Let me see what else. That's about it for now. We have a great and a glorious day. Now, the good news is, with all that I've given you as the voice of reason, we need to kind of regroup and retool and make sure we get the right people to do what's going on. And I think, and this is the most important thing before I let you go. Do not lose your mind. Do not lose your focus. Do not get upset. Just recognize the fact that there were some things which are very, very, very odd sometimes. It's difficult for people to understand. And we are going to do our best. We're going to do our best to make sure that we understand completely that our goal is complete and total victory. We're not going to be sidelined. We're not going to be sidetracked by stuff that really doesn't matter. That's all I'm going to say to you. Okay? Okay. All right, dear friends, have a great and a glorious and a wonderful day. We will see you back to tonight at 7 p.m. Don't ever change me then sincerely. Until then, remember these wonderful words. The monkey's dead. The show's over. Sue ya. Da-da.